Hey man, I saw Kenny Pickett started this week.
Dude, we're going to the Super Bowl.
Well,
Freaking
what?
amazing.
Wait, didn't you guys lose to the Jets last week?
You're missing the point, Temple. That's not the point. Steelers, Super Bowl. Can't pick it.
Okay. Good afternoon, sports fans, and welcome to this episode of the Trajan Sportcast Season 2. I am your host, professional wrestler, and Kansas City Chiefs fanatic, Christian Temple, joined alongside, as always, by my good friend, the Kenny Pickett jersey-wearing and terrible towel-twirling Trajan.
What's
How,
going on, man?
how we doing this week? I mean, you got your wish finally. Kenny Pickett is officially QB1 of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mixed emotions, but mostly hopeful.
That's a great thing to have, is hope, you know? That's all you can have in this life is hope. Oh, man. But yeah, as we will get into later on in the second installment of I Don't Want to Talk About It in a row, at least for one of us in a row. Yes, the Chiefs had a great week. The Steelers, kind of a meh week. Meh, because it's not great. It's not great because they lost the Jets, but it's not terrible because they are finally getting to see their quarterback, not just of the future, their quarterback of the present now.
Yep, exactly.
But more on that in just a moment, because we got to get to the fun part first too, and that is Let's Hear It Kingdom. How about those Chiefs? Revenge game of Super Bowl 55. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs go down to Raymond Jones Stadium in Tampa Bay and take care of business against the Buccaneers with a final score of 41-31. And boy, oh boy, did this game feel great. Almost from start to finish. I mean, right off the bat, I got to bring this up because last week, very disappointing. All three phases of the game. But the phase that was probably the most disappointing was special teams. Just
Yep.
all through. The punt team, the kickoff team, the field goals, all of it just very lackluster. And the very first thing that happens in this game, the kickoff. The kickoff coverage team strips the ball and recovers it. The very first thing that happens, setting up a short field for Patrick Mahomes, and he gets Travis Kelce for a touchdown, and quite a pretty impressive hurdle there from the 5-yard line to the goal line. I have to acknowledge that. Unbelievable start to the game. As we scroll down to the stats here too, Patrick Mahomes, a statement in this game. 23 out of 37 for 249 yards, 3 touchdowns. There was the pick that, kind of made things a little interesting for a second there, because Tampa did start to gain a little momentum, but the defense stepped up when it needed to. As far as rushing, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I've mentioned it beforehand. This is the best start to his season as a Kansas City Chief thus far, and he's getting more and more impressive each week. This week, 92 yards, a touchdown, his long run of 20 yards, average of 4.8 yards per carry. Isaiah Pacheco even got some carries in there for 63 yards, almost had a touchdown himself. It's also funny too, all three of our tight ends, or rather our starting tight ends, obviously Blake Bell's being injured, got a touchdown this week. You had Travis Kelce, you got the opening touchdown for the Chiefs. Noah Gray, which was hilarious because they usually save this play for Blake Bell, where one of the tight ends will go into motion, then stop right behind the center, will hike the ball, and if it's like a 4th and short or 4th and goal situation, just bulldoze through to the line again or to the goal line, and that's exactly what happened here. Played to perfection, Noah Gray with the touchdown, and my boy K-State represent Jody Fortson getting a touchdown for himself. His sole catch of the game was a touchdown, and I guess if you're gonna have one catch, you might as well make it count, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Bringing up the defense now. It's funny. You got Patrick Mahomes, his name on there for a tackle. Yes, he had to make his own tackle after throwing the interception. But L'Jarius Sneed, with not only a tackle for loss, a sack, but also a forced fumble that was recovered by Chris Jones. L'Jarius Sneed has really, really impressed me. As he is, what was the stat I saw? He is the number one slot blitzer in the league right now, and it seems like
Really?
every week he does have where he blitzes from the blind side, and he just wallops the quarterback. I mean, good God, week one, I was there in Arizona when he got Kyler Murray. I thought he took his head off. The previous week did very much the same to Matt Ryan. It was a hell of a hit, and then this one on Tom Brady. And Tom Brady came up holding his shoulder for a moment there, which led to the forced fumble right after the unfortunate drop on 4th and 1 by Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But the defense, stepped up big time, got the ball back, leading to a touchdown. So very, very important stand by the defense, especially when the momentum could easily swing in the opposite direction. And now, I brought him up at the beginning, but now bringing up the special teams. We let go of Matt Amendola, rather. Matt Amendola, because of his lackluster performance against the Colts. So we said, we definitely still want to keep a Matt as our kicker. So we signed Matt Wright instead. And boy, was he right. 2 for 2 on field goals, perfect on extra points. His longest was the 44-yarder. Very, very well played. And, when you sign kickers off practice squads, they're playing for a contract. They want an opportunity to shine for potentially another team in the next season. And I really think Matt Wright definitely earned a look or two from some teams with his performance. So my hat's off to him. And Tommy Townsend surprisingly did not have to come onto the field until the fourth quarter, which is always nice to see. The less you see of your punter, the better. And one singular punt of 43 yards, and obviously him being the holder for Matt Wright too, considering they have never had the chance to work with each other. Pretty good chemistry there too, and gave him the confidence he needed to sink them all through the uprights. But in closing, like I said, a statement win, something we really needed after the embarrassment that we suffered the previous week against the Indianapolis Colts, and confidence is riding higher now as a Chiefs fan, especially considering we are the polar opposite of where Adam Rank had us at this point, week 4. Flip the 3 and the 1, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we're going into next week, Monday Night Football, and we got the Raiders. But more on that later. It's time for Trajan's favorite part of the show, and I am talking about this week's edition of I Don't Want to Talk About It. So, Trajan, shall we begin?
I guess it's as good a time as any. Why couldn't we have done this show when the Steelers were in their prime? The Chiefs just sucked. That's what I want to know. That's what I really wish.
I wasn't so good. I wasn't so good with computers back in those days.
Anyways, so we lost to the Jets. Let's just get that out of the way. We lost to the Jets. We had a chance to win. We were up. We had a 92% probability of winning, but we lost to the Jets. How did we lose to the Jets? There were some interceptions. We're just going to skip over those things. We don't talk about interceptions here. We're going to talk about Kenny Pickett coming in at halftime. So I have my family over, and we're watching the game. Since we're in the Chiefs Kingdom area there, we don't get every single Steelers game. So unfortunately for me. But, so we're watching a Red Zone, and all of a sudden they announce that Kenny Pickett's coming in. And at first, my brother tells me, I was out of the room, Kenny Pickett's in. I'm like, no, you're joking. He's like, no, Kenny Pickett's in. And sure enough, he's in. And Tomlin put him in because he wanted a spark, and boy, did he put a spark in there. He did intercept the ball his first drive there. It is what it is. It was thrown to Chase Claypool. Defender got a hand in there, popped it up into the air. It goes to the defender. You're going to win some and lose some on those 50-50 balls. But then Minka Fitzpatrick intercepts the ball, almost runs it in. But Trubisky finished that for him. He ran the ball in for his first ever scoring touchdown. We are now in the lead. I'm like, okay, maybe something happens here. Then he orchestrates like an 80-some yard drive. Touchdown, him running in again. Okay. Then we had another interception. That one was bad. Probably should have thrown that one away. But they go, they drive, they get up. We end up throwing a Hail Mary. The rest is history. But very efficient. The ball never hit the ground for Kenny Pickett. He was 10 for 13. 3 of those missed passes were interceptions. So the ball didn't hit the ground. Pretty accurate. Can your quarterback say that?
It did hit a pair of hands, even though it may not have always been the set of hands that he that he intended. But no, hey, there's obviously with any quarterback, it's not going to be perfect the first time out. There will be some growing pains. But as you mentioned to me earlier, there is reason to hope again with your quarterback situation. Obviously, maybe the perfect scenario would be Mitch Trubisky playing the whole year out, doing decent, and then Kenny Pickett being your full-time starter next year. But you know what? I guess trial by fire now.
Yep. No, it's all about reps. I mean, it's kind of the same thing that happened with Josh Allen. He went right in there, and he did not play extremely well his first year. You saw flashes. So maybe we have that luck here. I will say 6 receptions, 102 yards for George Pickens. He came alive. His first 100-yard game in the National Football League.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty darn good. Pat Freiermuth, another 85 yards. Between them two, that was pretty much our whole offense there. Deontay Johnson was the next receiver after that. 2 receptions, 11 yards. Najee, he wasn't really targeted in the passing game, which is surprising. He's usually that safety net there. But Najee, 18 carries, 74 yards. He was over 4 yards a carry, which is amazing for our line. Defense, we need TJ Watt back. Cam Hayward's playing banged up. Minka Fitzpatrick's playing banged up. You can see our stars they're starting to take a toll on them. So, I mean, it's just going to be a tough game next week.
Absolutely. Got the Buffalo Bills, who had a comeback victory of their own against a very versatile Baltimore Ravens. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people that are blaming the refs. There's a lot of people that are blaming the decisions by Harbaugh, but you can't take it away. The Bills fought back from a near 20-point deficit and came back and won in regulation even. So you gotta take your hat off to the Bills in that aspect. But now we will be moving on to our Week 4 progress report. And here it is, the leftovers of our completely and totally accurate pre-week 1 tier maker that we already had. But now it is time to do some little creative editing here, and we shall start. We'll start from the bottom and work our way to the top. It's going to be interesting to see who goes up and who goes down, and we'll start with the Washington Commanders, who are now sitting at 1-3. I think they don't move up in any category. I think they're pretty much where they belong in this category.
I would say that's the case there too.
Absolutely. Pretty easy one too. The Seattle Seahawks. I'm hesitant, but I think I am gonna upgrade them to just blah right now. They had the surprise victory over Russell Wilson and the Broncos in Week 1. They've been kind of stagnant in between. They did beat it was the Lions last week, right?
Yeah, impressive.
They did beat the Lions last week. It was a very high scoring affair. So we'll move them up for now. They're not incredible, but they're not great. Or they're not terrible and as bad, so we'll say bless fair. We got the New York Jets now, which I'll let you take the reins on this one.
They're Super Bowl contenders, I tell you what.
Here we go. Now.
I would say their offense, I would say Black category. I wouldn't say trash.
I would agree with that. There's some impressive victories on their resume, and funny enough, against AFC North teams. It's crazy how this works out for them. Moving on to the Jacksonville Jaguars. What you thinking here for them?
Oh my goodness. I almost want to upgrade them to Bleh too. I mean, their games have been close. They almost knocked off an undefeated Philly. I don't know. Until they really prove it, I think they stay in trash.
So they're really staying trash? 2-2, man. If they had that win over Philadelphia, man, I'd put Jacksonville up in the meh category. I mean, that'd be a hell of a jump on there. Trash. Yeah, I guess we'll revisit them. We'll see if Doug Peterson if this is just dumb luck or if they really are trending in the right direction. We will find out by week 8 for sure, I imagine. Houston Texans. We won't go into too much detail. That's pretty cut and dry. Cleveland, though, I'm going to make an executive decision considering they are tied for the lead in the AFC North. It's a 3-way tie. Gonna have to upgrade them to Bleh at this moment. We'll see what their fate holds if by week 8 if they upgrade or downgrade, though.
Yeah, and I would say the Falcons join them.
I would say so too. That's a very quick turnaround, but it is also week 4, so they could fall flat on their face right now. It's only a matter of time. And honestly, I can almost put the Browns back down because they lost to the Falcons. But we'll see how the rest of their division shakes out. Who knows? They might be the best of the Bleh teams when it's all said and done.
Yep. It's highly possible.
Absolutely. Let's go with the 49ers now.
I almost say they're meh.
I would upgrade them too. I mean, every team in that division is 2-2 right now, but that was a statement win against the defending Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams. So that puts them up in a category themselves. And don't you worry, we'll have more to say about the Rams here in a few moments. Going on to the New York Giants. Man, I don't think they'll stay for long, but I'm gonna upgrade them. I'm gonna put them to the meh category, and it's up
as long as Saquon's healthy, they're in meh.
It's up to them if they stay there, though, because it's so funny that the NFC East has 3 teams over 500, and I'm not saying 500 and up. I'm saying over 500. So that's an interesting thing to be saying this time of the year. I'll go ahead and take the New Orleans Saints. I'm gonna downgrade them because it's been some painful losses, and unfortunately, there's not a lot to be hopeful for. They did, but man, they lost to the Vikings because double doink.
Oh yeah, they lost towards the end.
They double doinked in the last second, and with the injuries that are piling up on them too, there's just not a whole lot to be hopeful right now. We shall revisit them up in week 8, but I just don't see a whole lot with the Saints right now.
Yep, no, I agree. Then Detroit, I think, stays where they are.
It'd be pretty easy to knock them down to trash, but man, they've been very competitive in each and one of their games.
Very competitive and they can score points.
I would agree. And here's the funny thing. Chicago technically has a better record than Detroit, but man, am I super tempted to downgrade them because of how they've been losing their games. But we'll keep I'll move them to the end of Bleh. They're walking the fine line right now. They're 500.
Not walk the plank.
I have a bad feeling come week 8 they might trip over and fall down the stairs. But there is another team that will be joining the Saints in the same division, and it's crazy that these two teams are below the Falcons. I'm going Carolina. There's just not a lot of hope right now, even with Baker Mayfield in the fold. Rumors are starting to circulate that Sam Darnold might be replacing him for too long. So I guess only time will tell.
No, he's just not looking good. I Maybe the Browns were right to drop him.
Maybe so.
But
Alrighty. Well, I say, boy, I say, I say the Philadelphia Eagles are soaring to new heights. And right now, the way everything is going for them, I think, and we'll get to the Rams, I'll move them when I get there, but I think if I was to put the Rams and the Eagles in the NFC Championship game, man, my money would be on the Eagles right now.
I'll take that.
Everything's just going right for them. Their offense is clicking. Their defense is superior in most facets. So, like I said, week 8 we could see a difference, but right now numbers don't lie, and 4-0 is speaking to us loud and clearly right now. So the Eagles, I've got them as Super Bowl contenders right now. What are we thinking for the Minnesota Vikings, who are currently leading their division?
Minnesota Vikings, I say they stay in the mid. I
Ah,
don't. If it was week 8 and they're leading their division, yes, I say playoff contenders and downgrade Green Bay.
it might just be about that time. Absolutely, we shall see. And obviously, Green Bay will probably stay in their spot right now, just because of the fact that it's still pretty early in the season, and we shall see if Minnesota will dominate their competition. And Green Bay got showing a little bit of cracks here and there, offense and defense. So.
Yeah.
They nearly lost to a third-string quarterback from New England. I mean, so things are getting a little testy in Green Bay. Speaking of testy, my goodness, this is just a nightmare scenario. If everything was fine, and if Tua was 100% healthy, Dolphins playoff contender all day long. But God knows how long Tua is going to be out for. In Week 8. Maybe it'll be a different story. I am not ready to crown the Dolphins as playoff contenders just yet. But the way their season starts, if everything keeps rolling the right direction, that it may be the case later on.
Yep. No, I agree with you there.
All right. Well, I've taken the last couple, but I'm going to enjoy this one because the Raiders, even though they got the victory over the Broncos, I won't as much as I want to put them here. They got a victory, so we'll keep them at blah.
If they lose that game, they're going to trash.
Absolutely, 100%, 100%.
All right, and so that leaves us with the Colts. And I'm going to keep them where they're at. I want to get to the next team. As the Broncos, I am downgrading them to trash.
Oh wow! After the loss to the Raiders, the one of the last 2 winless teams, the Broncos down to trash. I was fully expecting to go blah right there, but if the fact that your superstar head coach that you hired, he's coached Aaron Rodgers and all that too, has to hire a special assistant coach to help you manage a game. I've never heard of that before. Have you ever heard of a situation like that before?
I mean, maybe it happens, but it's just been terrible.
Oh my God.
I don't. Russ has been terrible. The defense has kept him in games, but I know from experience that's only going to get you so far.
Melvin Gordon's been a liability at running back, and now you've got Javonte Williams going to be out for the year.
Yep. It's not looking good in Denver. They had such high hopes. And I would have downgraded them on the sole fact that week 1, you go up against your old team and you lose like that.
Exactly.
So they're trash.
I would agree with that wholeheartedly. All right, now we go to the Arizona Cardinals, and oh man, it's almost a flip of a coin. They are 2-2, but they are arguably, and the Seahawks are involved with this, by the way, they are arguably the worst 2-2 team in their division.
Yep.
Man, I don't really think they belong on the same category as the 49ers, so I will go ahead and make the decision to downgrade them to blah. We shall see whenever whenever DeAndre Hopkins comes back, if that really is the missing piece that they need to turn things around. But the way things are going, they just seem to trip over themselves.
Yep. So that brings us to Tennessee. And I'm going to leave them where they are on the sole fact of their division. That is the only way they stay off and playoff contenders.
I will agree with that because of how they played against Indy. It seemed like that was the game they needed. It was their get-right game, I guess. Yeah. So, Derrick Henry started looking like his old self. Tannehill was, pretty decent. He wasn't, he doesn't have to be perfect. He just has to be good enough. The defense stepped up when they needed to. So yeah, I'll keep Tennessee where they are, which will bring us next to, it's funny, we got Tennessee and Jacksonville with the same records. We got Jacksonville down in trash still, and Tennessee is playoff contender. But we have our reasons. There's a method.
What have they done for us in the past, too?
Exactly. His history, those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it, right?
Exactly.
Well, speaking of history not repeating itself, I brought up earlier the Chiefs taking down the Buccaneers at Raymond Jones Stadium. But even still, just considering the competition that Tampa Bay has, yes, the Atlanta Falcons have the same record as them. I just think Tampa Bay is still the best team in the NFC South, so they shall stay where they are. And I will leave this next team in your hands, good sir.
All right, so we're moving them up.
Knocking down. Honestly, if this was the week after the Steelers-Bills game, and the Steelers just dominated the Bills, we could probably make that happen. Steelers up to the top, and Bills go back down. But
no, I am downgrading my team.
Wow, we're going all the way to the... I can't believe you're going all the way to that. I keep hearing trash for some reason. I don't know, my headphones are... No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. But...
They stay at meh because Pickett's in. At this point, if Trubisky was still in, I'd say we even go down to bleh.
That would probably be a fair assessment if Tomlin came out and said no, it was just a fluke deal. We just wanted to get Pickett some reps. We're sticking with Trubisky, and then all of Pittsburgh would burn to the ground. Now we go to the LA Chargers, and I could still see them as a wild card team. They are only one game behind Kansas City. Anything could happen. I'm not going to downgrade the Chargers. And as much as that game felt so good against Tampa Bay, I'm not going to upgrade the Chiefs to Super Bowl contender just yet. Now, that being said, we do play the Bills in here a couple weeks. So we got the Raiders, then the Bills, and then we'll have Jacksonville and then San Francisco. So a clean sweep of those four teams, beating the Bills, then it might be time to make an ascension to where I think they should be. But I'm not going to do it yet. We shall check again come week 8.
Well, you're going to be crying the blues because you're losing to the Raiders, but we did skip over the Patriots here.
Oh, that's right.
I want to move them down to bleh.
Oh, there we go. All the way down to bleh.
The starting quarterback's injured. I think he's 2 to 4 weeks.
I think so.
And their backup, I think he just got banged up. Hoyer is their backup, so that tells you their ceiling on that.
What was the last name of their third string? Zappy?
Yeah. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm not too high on New England.
I can't say I blame you too. So we shall see how their season is turned around, if it does turn around within the next 4 weeks. Going on to the Green Bay Packers, who are tied with the division lead for Minnesota, and we did discuss we will probably leave them where they are. The Dallas Cowboys. Boy, oh boy, is this one interesting because there is no Dak Prescott. There is only Cooper Rush, and apparently Cooper Rush is all you really need in this life.
Who have they played? Who have they really played? Yes, they beat Bengals, but we beat the Bengals with Trubisky. Now the Bengals are looking like they're getting right. They go down to meh. Cowboys cannot stay up there with the Eagles the way that they're playing.
Very good. Cowboys down to meh, and without their starting quarterback, and who knows, they go on such a good run. Dak comes back, he's named the starter, and then everything just goes to crap again. You just never know. We briefly mentioned the Bengals. That was their get right. Do we still see them as a playoff contender? I mean, if they play the way they did last week, then could very well be a possibility.
I say they stay there just because they didn't start out amazing last year either. It took time for them to get going. This is a completely new offensive line, but the pieces are there. I say the Bengals stay there.
And I would have to agree with that, and also agree that the Baltimore Ravens will probably have to stay there too. Yes, last week they started off dominant against the Bills, but they opened the door just a crack, and the Bills just kicked it right down. So, the Ravens kind of got in their own way there, but the fact that they were competitive with the Bills, I think that keeps them in the playoff contender status. Now to the Los Angeles Rams, who got just decimated by the San Francisco 49ers. As we mentioned, the entire NFC West is 2-2. I'll keep them in playoff contender, but they have been knocked off their perch as Super Bowl contender by the aforementioned Philadelphia Eagles.
Yep. Nope, I completely agree with you there. They're just not starting to look like more of Super Bowl hangover LA Rams, not Super Bowl contender LA Rams. So
absolutely,
who knows? They could get right, but I agree with you there. But I want to touch up on this because it is my second team. Going back to last year. But no,
absolutely.
The Bills, I still say they are the Super Bowl contender for the AFC. When Josh Allen is hot, he is hot. And they have a great defense to back it up. I think there's just so many weapons for the Bills that it's hard to say they're not.
Absolutely. As we mentioned too, the Ravens a good team, and it takes a lot of guts to make the comeback, especially on the road at Baltimore, and then beat them. Ref ball aside, questionable coaching decisions aside, you still got to go out, play the games, and you got to overcome the deficits. So, yep. There's your Super Bowl contenders. You've got the Buffalo Bills and the Philadelphia Eagles, which is probably not a good thing for Buffalo Bills fans because their 4 Super Bowl losses to NFC East teams in the early '90s, and the only team that didn't do that was the Eagles. So,
Yep.
could the quadfecta be fulfilled finally? I guess only time will tell as we get back to our main screen here. Now we have moved on to our locks, upsets, and high rollers of the week. And last week was kind of another decent week for me. I ended up getting a point, as you could see by the scoreboard here. Ba-bam! Beautiful, isn't it? Oh, as always. I'm just slowly crawling away from you. My lock of Miami over Cincinnati didn't really go over as well as I had hoped, but my upset proved to be correct as the Titans.
Lame upset.
Hey, it was stats. The stats wise was correct. Tennessee over Indianapolis, and then the high rollers. I was way off with Philly over Jacksonville. That could have been a higher scoring game, but nope. It was more of a defensive struggle through and through, which Philly ended up taking the victory over there. But starting with our locks of the week, I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers over the New York Giants. That's
really?
our next London game. Obviously, the Giants off to a great start with 3-1, but I think this will be the game where everything probably goes smoothly for Green Bay, and they need a statement win after barely escaping from the New England Patriots third-string quarterback, and I think this will be their get-right game.
Okay, I was just gonna make sure you watched last week. Okay, but I'm doubling down on my lock.
Oh,
Last week I said Detroit. This week, I will say Detroit again. They are going up against a much more favorable opponent there in New England.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, they're banged up, third string quarterback. I say Detroit. They can put points on the board. This is the game.
That could very well be the case. Moving on to my upsets here, I'm going with the New York Jets over the Miami Dolphins, only because the Jets they find a way to win. It's uncanny the ways they find to win games, and Miami it'll be interesting if Bridgewater can carry him over the hump, but I think it'll be a close battle. Maybe the Jets get a game-winning field goal or a last-second touchdown over the Dolphins.
Upset over a second-string quarterback. All right,
I'm going by records here, man. I'm going by records. It's a team sport. It's a team sport.
Okay. All right, so my upset of the week is a true upset. It's Arizona over Philly. I think this could be one of those games where Philly kind of sleeps on it. Arizona, they need this game.
Oh, yeah.
So I think this could be one where Arizona wins.
Considering how wide open the NFC West is right now, they need to get their act in gear and quickly. Moving on to the high rollers, and I picked Philadelphia last week. It didn't really work out, but as you doubled down with Detroit, I'm doubling down with Philly. I'm going with what you just said, the upset. I'm going Philly, Arizona as the high-scoring affair on this one.
Okay. And I actually am changing my high rollers.
Oh, okay.
Thought about it more. You and I will be at a local shout-out to Side Pockets. I think Kansas City Raiders might be a high-scoring game.
Ooh, there we go.
And so that's what I'm going with. I'm going with that one.
You get Pat Mahomes with Travis Kelce, and then you got Derek Carr with Devontae Adams. It could very well be the case. It's gonna be a fun game Monday night at Arrowhead Stadium. But yep, we'll be watching that at our local our favorite place to watch some games. That'd be Side Pockets. So we're excited to check out that game. Who's the guy? What time do the Steelers play the Bills this coming Sunday?
We are a noon game.
Another noon game. All right, and remind me, is this one? This one is at Buffalo, correct?
Yep, it is at Buffalo.
All right. Well, any given Sunday, as they say, you never know, and a win against a team like that would definitely boost your confidence, especially in your young quarterback going forward. So we shall see how that goes. And any closing thoughts before we wrap things up on this little bit longer episode of the podcast?
A lot to go through this week.
Oh yeah.
There's a few thoughts. Go Steelers. Go Pickett. Raiders will win. Yeah, I think those are my thoughts.
Some great and insightful thoughts, some deep thoughts with Trajan here. Speaking of thoughts, leave your thoughts down in the comment box below. What did you think of our Week 4 progress report? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think your teams rank higher? Should they be lower? Who is the true Super Bowl contenders in your eyes? We'd love to hear you sound off in the comments below. But on that note, thank you everybody so much for watching. Click like if you liked the video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all of your friends, and we will see you next week back on the show. This is Temple of Trajan, signing off.